Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong is asking Singaporeans to step forward to offer their views and ideas on where they want to be in the future and how to get there. He made the call at the launch of the Forward Singapore effort. The year-long exercise, led by Mr Wong and his fourth-generation leadership, will review and refresh the country's social compact and set out a roadmap for Singapore for the next decade and beyond. Well, our reporter, Brandon Tanoto, joins us to tell us more. Brandon, reviewing and refreshing the country's social compact, does it need a review, and why now?
Well, thanks, Jill. Now, it's important to note that it's been 2 months since Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong was selected as the leader of PAP's fourth-generation team, and paving the way for him to become Singapore's next Prime Minister. And this is his first major policy speech since he was appointed DPM earlier this month. Now, Mr Wong says it's important to review and refresh the social compact, and this is amid the changing circumstances and the changing context that we see. Now, he also points out that the country is now at a crossroads in its journey. Now, it expected a strong recovery from the pandemic, but now, unfortunately, it's faced with several headwinds. So externally, we've got the Russia-Ukraine war, rising inflation, geopolitical tensions, as well as global supply chain disruptions. And domestically, Singapore's also dealing with a rapidly aging population, concerns over slower social mobility, as well as the fears of being left behind. So this is where a stronger social compact, Mr Wong says, can change these challenges into opportunities, and which Mr Wong says is a key reason for embarking on this exercise.
This is why my 4G colleagues and I think we should take a step back, reflect on where we are today, where we want to be in the future, and how we can get there together. At this juncture, as we prepare for a post-pandemic world, as we navigate an increasingly treacherous geopolitical situation, as my 4G team and I prepare to take on the mantle and lead Singapore forward, let us reaffirm our fundamental values, re-examine our principles, review our priorities and policies, and chart our new way forward together. This is what the Forward Singapore exercise is about.
And Brandon, what does Mr Wong say are the first steps in getting this roadmap, this blueprint?
That's right, Jill. Now, Mr Wong outlined several areas, and these are on the economy, meritocracy, social support, and solidarity. So on the economic front, he says Singapore needs to remain open and connected, so that it can continue to attract investments and talent from around the world. And now this is especially important because it can provide new jobs and opportunities for Singaporeans. And he also stresses that Singaporeans will always be at the center of what the government does. Hence, the government will ensure that housing continues to remain affordable and taxes will also remain progressive, in the sense that those that earn more and have more will contribute more for those that have less. Now, Mr Wong also pledges to make Singapore's system of meritocracy more open and compassionate. And how will he do this? This is in ways like investing in preschool education, as well as broadening the concept of merit beyond just academic credentials.
I want to see a Singapore where opportunities are open to all, no matter who they are or what their background is, where all are assured of access to basic needs like education, healthcare, and housing, and everyone can chart their own path to live a fulfilling and dignified life. Where we can build the best home, not just for ourselves, but for generations of Singaporeans yet unborn. Where all Singaporeans contribute their fair share to the common good, with those who are fortunate to do well in life willingly contributing more to uplift their fellow citizens with less. Where every man and woman is valued, every child treasured, and every senior respected.
The idea, the approach of seeking feedback from Singaporeans and the government co-working with Singaporeans. It's not new. It's an approach the government has embarked on before. Why are they taking this approach for the exercise?
Indeed. Now, Forward Singapore will actually build on the ideas that have been gathered from other engagements in the recent years. So if you recall, these are the Singapore Together Emerging Stronger conversations, as well as the conversations on women's development, among others. So for example, the Singapore Together movement, which was launched by Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee Keat back in 2019, it sees government co-working with Singaporeans to design and implement policies. So now more than 25 partnerships, and these partnerships are called Alliances for Actions. They've came out of the series of dialogues, and these alliances look at social issues such as, caring for people with disabilities, women's development, as well as also the pertinent issue of training and jobs.
And there were also some interesting points that came out of this post-speech dialogue. Mr Wong, I believe, was asked some questions on what he saw as the pertinent issues facing Singaporeans. How did he respond?
That's right. Now, 14 questions were posed to a panel comprising Mr Wong, NTUC President Mary Liu, and NTUC Secretary General Ng Chee Meng. So now, addressing the issue on foreign workers, Mr Wong says Singaporeans need to accept that there will be some degree of competition, whether these workers are here or overseas. And he also reiterated plans to pass a new law to ensure that fair employment practices will help on this front. He explains that Singapore will also continue to update policies to manage the inflow of work pass holders to ensure that they come into sectors where Singapore actually needs them to complement and not to displace the local workforce. And he also was asked if the exercise would include changes to the electoral system.
To me, what's more important is not just about changes in our rules for elections or in our rules for parliamentary representation. Because if you look at many advanced first world democracies, they have very mature political systems, very participatory political systems. But yet, in many of these countries, when the social compact is eroded, politics becomes very polarized and societies becomes very divided.
In the meantime, the labour movement and union leaders say they welcome the Forward Singapore exercise and will work with everyone to pave the way forward. NTUC Secretary General Ng Chee Meng says that this exercise will be a key component for the success of Singapore in the future.
It answers to the workers' interests and our own work at NTUC to champion the interests of workers. Singapore society has changed. In the last few years, NTUC has been looking into the senior workers' issues, lower wage worker, progressive wage model. Now we have ventured into greenfield areas like PME anxieties, and the latest that we are launching would be the Youth Task Force.
Health Minister Ong Ye Kung adds that another example of a social compact is ensuring that the people are healthy. His ministry has already rolled out its Healthier SG strategy that aims to improve health outcomes.
As our population becomes older and government wants to continue to support our population as we grow old, to support and provide assistance for us in our healthcare journey, we need a new compact where we take personal responsibility with the help of doctors, hospitals and our community to take care of our health. But at the same time, government is always there to create the infrastructure and services to support you.
Well, one political analyst says the Forward Singapore exercise isn't merely a feedback exercise. He says it's also about how they're going to deal with the big issues, as well as building trust and confidence in Singapore's fourth generation team.
We must remember that this is, in essence, right, a political exercise. So I see this as also trying to deal with Singaporeans' concerns over some of these hot button issues, and the hope, I believe for the 4G leaders would be to try to diffuse, as much of the sensitivity that would come, from these issues before the next general election.